Pay-per-view revenue. When a boxer signs to fight, they get a guaranteed purse. But for the biggest names, that number is almost secondary. The real money comes from pay-per-view, a percentage of every household that pays to watch. The split gets negotiated before the fight. A-side fighters, the bigger draw, can command anywhere from 50 to 60% of total PPV revenue. That percentage gets stacked on top of the guaranteed purse, meaning the better the fight sells, the bigger the payday. In April 2023, Gervonta Davis knocked out Ryan Garcia in the 7th round at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. The fight generated over 1.2 million PPV buys and roughly $102 million in revenue, the highest grossing boxing event of that year and one of the biggest non-Mayweather PPV events in the sport's history. Both fighters earned far beyond their base guarantees once the PPV numbers came in. Later that same year, Terrence Crawford stopped Errol Spence in 9 rounds at the same venue. That fight drew 650,000 to 675,000 buys and generated over $55 million in revenue. Both fighters earned at least $25 million each, on top of a $21 million live gate. Neither Crawford nor Spence was considered a mainstream crossover star. They didn't have massive social media followings or celebrity profiles. The money came purely from being the 2 best welterweights in the world fighting each other. That's what a PPV split does. It rewards the fight itself, not just the name. Streaming deals. For most of boxing's history, the money came from pay-per-view. Fans paid per fight, and revenue was tied directly to how many people bought in. Streaming changed that. Platforms now pay fighters guaranteed money up front, either through long-term fighter contracts or broadcast rights fees, completely separate from how many people actually tune in. The fighter contract model produced the most dramatic example the sport had ever seen. In 2018, DAZN signed Canelo Alvarez to a 5-year, 11-fight deal worth a minimum of $365 million. At the time, the richest athlete contract in sports history, guaranteeing $35 million per fight regardless of PPV performance. Anthony Joshua had a separate DAZN arrangement worth around £100 million over 5 years, making the platform itself a standalone income stream independent of any single result. The rights fee model works differently. Instead of paying the fighter directly, the platform pays for the right to broadcast the event. Netflix paid a reported rights fee in excess of $50 million just to stream the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson card in November 2024, before a single fighter purse was negotiated. Tyson Fury's April 2026 comeback at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium operated the same way. Streamed exclusively on Netflix, Fury reportedly earned around $23.5 million guaranteed. The money was locked in before the first bell. Shorts sponsorships. A boxer's trunks are advertising space. Every logo that appears on them during a televised fight has been paid for, negotiated separately, priced by placement, and stacked on top of whatever the fighter is already making from the purse. The bigger the fight, the more those placements are worth. For Pacquiao versus Mayweather in 2015, a single 6-inch by 4-inch patch on Pacquiao's trunks cost a minimum of $300,000. That wasn't the total sponsorship figure. That was the price of one placement. Companies including Motolite, Cafe Puro, AirAsia, and Viber each paid separately to appear on his shorts that night. The fight drew 4.4 million PPV buys. Every time the camera zoomed in, every highlight reel, every replay, those logos were there. Brand deals. Brand deals are the income that keeps coming in between fights. A fighter signs with a company, appears in their campaigns, wears their logo, and gets paid, regardless of whether they're in camp or sitting at home. At the top end, Anthony Joshua was making around $10.5 million a year from sponsorships and endorsements at the height of his marketability. Beats, Jaguar Land Rover, Hugo Boss, and William Hill all had deals with him simultaneously. That figure had nothing to do with fight purses or PPV splits. It was purely offering income built on his profile as a 2-time heavyweight champion. The deals don't require a title. Ryan Garcia became the first professional boxer to sign a national deal with Gatorade in the United States, later appearing in a commercial alongside Damian Lillard. Garcia had never held a major world title at the time. The deal was built entirely on his social media following and marketability. Even below the elite level, brand money is real. Gervonta Davis earns an estimated $700,000 annually from his Under Armour deal alone, a number that doesn't fluctuate with fight results or PPV performance. Exhibition fights. Exhibition fights operate outside the normal rules of professional boxing. Rounds are shorter, gloves are heavier, and the result often carries no official record implications. What they do carry is a massive massive payday, sometimes larger than anything a fighter earned during their actual career. In November 2024, Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson on Netflix. Tyson was 58 years old and hadn't fought professionally since 2005. The fight used 2-minute rounds and 14-ounce gloves. Paul earned $40 million. Tyson earned $20 million. It drew 108 million global viewers, the most streamed sporting event in history. Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather in June 2021 under similar terms. 8 rounds, no judges, no official winner. The fight generated approximately 1 million PPV buys at $49.99 each, totaling around $50 million in revenue. Mayweather took home $35 million. In December 2025, Anthony Joshua knocked out Jake Paul in the 6th round on Netflix. Joshua earned approximately $92 million, a higher single-fight payday than any of his world title defenses against legitimate heavyweight champions. Becoming your own promoter. When a fighter signs with a promoter, that promoter takes anywhere from 20 to 40% of the event revenue. For fighters generating tens of millions of dollars per fight, that cut is enormous. The ones who figured out they could keep it built some of the biggest fortunes in the sport. Floyd Mayweather founded Mayweather Promotions in 2007, paying $750,000 to buy out of his contract with Bob Arum and Top Rank. From that point forward, he controlled every revenue layer of his fight nights. PPV splits, undercard costs, venue deals, broadcast negotiations, all of it ran through him. Mayweather Promotions has since netted more than $350 million and generated over $1 billion in PPV revenue. Oscar De La Hoya took the same approach a few years earlier. He founded Golden Boy Promotions in 2002 while still an active fighter, becoming the first modern boxer to capture the promoter's share of his own fights while still competing. After retiring in 2008, his wealth continued growing through the business. Golden Boy represented Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia, took the promoter's cut on some of the sport's biggest events, and built De La Hoya a post-career net worth estimated at $200 million. Social media. Social media following has become one of the most direct paths to a bigger payday in boxing. Platforms don't care about rankings or title belts. They care about how many people a fighter brings to an event. Ryan Garcia had 12 million Instagram followers before he ever fought for a major world title. That following was the primary reason Davis vs. Garcia generated over $100 million in total revenue in 2023. His promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, credited Garcia's online fan base with pushing the fight far beyond the 450,000 to 750,000 buys insiders originally projected. Garcia earned $30 million from that fight. A fighter with similar skills but no following would have earned a fraction of that. Jake Paul's 75 million social media followers across platforms allowed him to reach 30 times more people than traditional champions at zero promotional cost. Netflix paid him $40 million for the Tyson fight without a single PPV sale involved. Shakur Stevenson built his following on X and parlayed it into Saudi money. His active presence led to Turkey Al Sheikh booking him on Riyadh season cards, earning him a $5 million guaranteed purse for a WBC title defense in 2024, a payday that would have been out of reach through traditional U.S. promotion at his level. Building a brand. Some fighters stop endorsing other people's products and start selling their own. An endorsement deal pays a flat fee or annual rate. Owning the brand means keeping the margin on every unit sold and using the fights as free advertising. Jake Paul launched W, a men's personal care brand selling deodorant, body wash, and body spray exclusively through Walmart. It did over 7 figures in sales in its first month, broke records in Walmart's emerging brands category, raised $14 million in funding, and reached a valuation of over $150 million within its first year, all built on the audience Paul built through boxing. Canelo Alvarez launched VMC Drinks in September 2022, a tequila-based canned cocktail brand. Rather than charging a third-party sponsor for ring placement, Canelo gave VMC the presenting sponsor role at his own fights. Every in-ring logo, every ringside banner, every broadcast mention went to a brand he owned. Oscar De La Hoya released a Latin pop album in 2001 that sold over 1 million copies and earned a Grammy nomination. It had nothing to do with boxing. It was built on the reputation he had built inside the ring over a decade as one of the sport's biggest draws. Saudi money. For most of boxing's history, the biggest fights happened in Las Vegas. That changed when Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority started writing checks that no traditional promoter could match. Fighters at every level are now getting making guaranteed money that would have been unthinkable 5 years ago. Canelo Alvarez signed a 4-fight, $400 million deal with Saudi Arabia's Riyadh season. $100 million per fight guaranteed, with no PPV threshold to hit. The money doesn't move based on how many people buy the broadcast. Saudi Arabia isn't buying pay-per-view revenue. They're buying the global attention that comes with hosting the sport's biggest names. Anthony Joshua received $75 million for his Usyk rematch held in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia in 2022, split evenly with Usyk from a total purse of $150 million. In their first fight a year earlier, Joshua earned $17 million. The Saudi site fee more than quadrupled his payday for a fight he ended up losing. The money reaches fighters well below the elite tier, too. Shakur Stevenson received a $5 million guaranteed purse to headline a Riyadh season undercard in 2024. Through traditional U.S. promotion, a fighter at his level would not have commanded that figure. The Saudis changed what the market looks like for everyone, not just the stars at the top. Broadcasting deals. Retiring from boxing doesn't mean retiring from the sport's money. For fighters who built a profile inside the ring, there's a second career waiting in broadcasting, and it pays consistently in a way that fight purses never could. Carl Froch retired in 2015 after knocking out George Groves in front of 80,000 fans at Wembley Stadium, and immediately joined Sky Sports as a boxing analyst. His post-retirement commentary work is estimated to earn him between $600,000 and $1.3 million annually. Andre Ward retired undefeated in 2017 and signed a multi-year deal with ESPN as a lead analyst. He also appeared in the Creed film franchise. The same undefeated record that made him one of boxing's most respected fighters made him one of broadcasting's most credible voices. Sean Porter is perhaps the most deliberate example. Fox Sports approached him while he was still an active two-time world champion. He was hosting PBC broadcasts and fighting world title bouts at the same time. When he announced his retirement after losing to Terrence Crawford in 2021, he already had a full broadcasting career waiting. "I had the goal to be on TV and radio much sooner than I did for being a professional boxer," Porter later admitted.